Welcome back to another episode of Pinkvilla Tech, and today we are out here on the outskirts of Mumbai in the wee hours for a very good reason. One is to avoid the traffic and the second is to drive the new Tata Punch. And overall we are having a great experience. We're having some fun with the small nifty micro SUV, which is going to be a direct competition to the TUV 100. We are driving the manual petrol variant, which is a 1-litre engine, 83 bhp and 114 Newton meters of torque. Now, to put all that into perspective, for the lightweight chassis that we are driving, it's a decent amount of power. You do feel that the car is a bit sluggish when you're in traffic, but it's smooth. Now, the Tata Punch is not exactly similar to the concept car that Tata had unveiled at the Auto Expo show, but there are distinct similarities between the concept car and the production ready car, especially the front grille. It's very similar to the electric cars that Tata is now developing. The new redesigned bumper with the textured quality looks fantastic. It gives it that bulky, aggressive look, and in the top-end variant of the Tata Punch is where you get the projector headlamps, not available on the lower variants. There's a nice subtle design language that carries forward. You have a coupe-like design or sloping roof. Now, it's not really sloping, but the whole design pattern that is carried forward here gives you that illusion of the coupe-like style without compromising the head space even for the rear passengers. We have LED headlamps and projectors out on the front. On the back as well, we have LED tail lamps, and this is a nice subtle design. This is the reminiscent of the concept design that is there. The boot is quite neat and spacious. This is around 330 liters. We don't have the specs yet, but this is what I'm guessing from the size of it. This is going to be around 330 liters of boot space. With respect to the interiors, for the kind of price point Tata is offering this car, which is at around 5.5 lakh, is expected to be the price point. But then it's a decent amount of package. Like, this is the top end variant that we're driving. It has touchscreen infotainment system with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay baked in. Apart from that, the speakers are not that bad. But for me, I'm 6 feet tall. I still have a decent amount of headroom up here. And from the point of view of the visibility, I'm able to see each and every corner of the car quite well, and I have a decent amount of view of the road ahead of me as well. So it's a good place to be in driving as well. How does the car feel while I'm driving? So far, I'm liking the experience. I don't have too much of body roll, which is good. In taller cars, you expect that, but out here, it's not really that evident. We drove from Mumbai to the outskirts of Vashi, and the highway drive during the early mornings was quite decent. It was very smooth on the highways. Even at high speeds, the car felt very grounded, and that's a very important factor when you're driving a taller car. The seats are quite comfortable. You get decent amount of lumbar support. You have bucket shaped kind of seats. They're not really leather, they are upholstery, but then they're nice to have. The steering wheel is nice. It's a flat bottom steering wheel. It gives a sporty look, but also it's easy to get in and out of the car in case you have long legs like me, or maybe you're a little overweight like me again. But then it's good. There are infotainment buttons on the steering wheel on the left where you can control your infotainment system. You can answer or disconnect calls. There's also cruise control in this package included by Tata. And to top it all, the steering wheel is covered in leather. The seats do offer good amount of under-thigh support for the front passengers as well as the rear. And because the car is a little taller, you do have a decent amount of leg space as well as head space at the back as well. Now, I'm sitting at the back seat of the Punch here, and the front seat or the driver's seat is adjusted to my ride height settings, and I'm 6 feet tall. In spite of that, I still have about 3 inches of space here for my knees, and because there's space underneath the seat, I am still able to manage my feet quite comfortably. There's a good amount of under-thigh support, so for long journeys this is going to be good. If I shift myself to the center seat, there's not much of a seat rise. There is still good enough of space on the top, so I'm sitting quite comfortably. And the best part about this is there's still enough room for another Aurelius to sit on the left side and possibly a mid-size or a small child in the center. But if you're a lean person, the 3 people can fit in comfortably. So there's good amount of space. I can see comfortably outside from the window. They're large enough, so I'm not going to be claustrophobic sitting back here. It's a good space to be in, and it's a well-designed car. And the headrest at this price point, again, it makes a hell lot of difference, even from the point of view of safety. This car sits taller as compared to any other car out of the road. It's competing with the TUV 100, And to test it out, how effective or how good the car is, even if you want to take it not off-roading but soft-roading, Tata has prepared an off-roading track for us. And we're going to take this car and drive it around the track to get a hands-on feel of how capable the car really is. And then we're going to switch to an automatic variant, have a proper feel of how the automatic feel is. Now the Tata Punch has a 20.2 approach angle, a 22.3 breakover angle and a 37.2 departure angle, because of which, combined with the ground clearance of 190 millimeters, any obstacle that we are currently throwing at it, it's just passing through. Gradients that we're looking at, the slopes that we're looking at, are mostly done by a proper 4x4 wheel drive car. But this car, with the two-wheel drive, is able to push itself out of the muck, slopes and even a gradient which is around 12.7%. You can see from the state of the car, we put it through a lot right now, but the car has outdone itself, and this is where Tata is actually putting out a product which shows that they have a resemblance or some significance of the JLR DNA coming into this. Because of the smaller wheelbase, we are able to even take a tighter turn within a smaller radius of 5 meters, which is an amazing feat for a car of this size. It is a micro SUV, but still, it is an SUV, and if an SUV is able to pull it off around this tight bends, not something you're going to put this car through on a daily basis. But if push comes shove, if someday you have to put the car through its elements, the Tata Punch will punch its way through the elements. We have now shifted to the automatic variant of the Punch, and quite honestly, I'm loving the automatic variant even more, is because the gear shifts are so smooth. You don't feel the engine struggling. Gearbox is working its magic. This is an automated manual transmission, so you can switch to manual and change gears manually. There are no pedal shifters though, but still, it's doing a good job. Everything else about the car remains the same. The engine's the same. The cosmetics are the same. Even the exterior of the car remains the same, including the seats. The only thing changes is the gearbox. But overall, this is a great package. This has been the first drive of the Tata Punch. We will be soon coming out with a proper in-depth review of this car once it is launched. This is Aurelius signing off, and this has been the first drive for the Tata Punch. For more such tech reviews and car drives and videos, stay tuned, like, subscribe to us, and we will meet again soon. Have a good evening ahead.